Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video I am going to be drawing Hornet from Hollow Knight Silksong, but I'm going to be drawing her as like an anime girl, because why not? Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to first start by doing a little sketch of what Hornet looks like in the game, so we can have something on the page, so I don't constantly have to look up at a reference. And we're just going to do a little shitty sketch. It's not going to be exactly perfect. It just needs to be something close enough to what she looks like. And I'm not going to put too much time into it because I just don't want to spend too much time on this. But there we go. There's her eyes. Her eyes aren't actually that mean looking, but that's fine. Then there's this right here. Her cloak, which her cloak going like that is actually good for me considering how I used to draw cloaks all the time. That's kind of similar to how I used to draw them. And then it's kind of like wee. Fabric go wee. There we go. And then her legs. Boom, there we go. There is Silksong. What's her name? Hornet. Alright, we're going to start right here. We're probably going to end up erasing most of that so it doesn't get in the way, but we're going to start right here. Alright, here we go. Here's where the head's going to go. Now, I was going to give her horns to make her kind of look like a demon type thing because her mask does have horns. But I did decide to ditch that and just actually give her a mask. And it's totally not because then I have to draw a lot less hair and a lot less facial features. And it's definitely not because of that, I promise you. It's 100% because of that. Alright. So, I should have drawn an actual face first before I started trying to draw the mask, but we're already drawing the mask, so we're going to continue drawing the mask. Alright. Also, I don't know what this line was. I was thinking that it curved this way. It doesn't curve that way. Like her mask doesn't curve that way. I was just thinking it did for some reason. Alright. There we go. Here is a little Hornet mask. I guess I can give it some eyes. Just some little... these thing eyes. Alright. I think that looks pretty good, honestly. I mean, it's not even... there's not even that much. I just think this mask looked pretty good, honestly. I'm pretty proud of myself for how I did that mask. Alright. Now let's go like that. And now we're going to need to draw her cloak. And how am I going to draw her cloak? If I'm trying to draw her more like a human shape, how am I going to draw her cloak? I'm going to draw like I draw a cloak on a human, duh. Although I should have actually placed out some human proportions before I drew the head. I didn't think that through, because I haven't drawn humans in quite a while. Actually, that's not true. I've been studying anatomy, but I haven't drawn a human for myself in quite a while. Alright. Since I'm covering most of her body in a cloak, I'm not going to actually bother doing the majority of anatomy things. I'm not going to worry about none of that. I'm just going to get where her legs are going in. And then I actually kind of want her to be standing at an angle too, so I have quite a lot of trouble drawing pelvises at an angle trying to get better at that, but that is something that I still struggle with, and I've struggled with since the beginning of me drawing. Now, the legs might change positions, but at the moment, this is where they're gonna stand. They might change because of how I draw a cloak. It just depends on the length of the cloak and stuff. I might just lengthen her or shorten her. It doesn't matter. She's kind of tall in the game anyway, so I think lengthening her would be completely fine and reasonable. Alright. I like what this little point right here looks like. I don't want to cover it up, but I think I'm going to have to cover it up with how I'm going to draw the cloak. I just don't want to. I'm going to have to, but I don't want to. And we're going to deal with, we'll deal with giving that a little more detail later, but we're going to deal with her hair, which I am going to give her hair because this is just a mask. This is not a helmet. This is a mask, so it would have, like, if I were to draw a little mask right here, put an eye here and here, it's going to have a strap on it. Like this. It's going to have a strap, so this also has a strap, so we're going to have to do hair because there's going to be hair out. And I assume she has short hair, just because of, I don't know. I mean, she's a bug, so she doesn't have any hair, but if she weren't a bug, I would assume short hair. Because battle. Battle is short hair. Short hair better for battle. Or in a braid would also work, but I just figure short hair, because short hair would be easier. Or no hair. No hair is probably story accurate because of, you know, bug. But, okay, so we need to do this. Because we still do need to remember that this is just a cloak. So, regardless of how the cloak works in the game, this cloak that I'm drawing is going to be a little different. And I should give her her nail, right? Well, she doesn't have a nail. She's got a needle. I didn't actually think her needle through, did I? I should have thought that through. I did not. I thought about the cloak, and that's pretty much all I thought about was the cloak and her legs. But I guess I probably should have thought about her nail too. How are we gonna do her nail? Well, her nail looks like this. Let's just do a little tiny version right here. I keep calling it a nail. It's a needle. It's got a relatively long handle though, doesn't it? So I need to. Oh, does it? I can't remember. I haven't played the game in a bit. I've only played it once, and I didn't play it for that long. I mean, I guess I played it for a couple hours, but I did like it. I probably won't ever beat it, though. I never beat Hollow Knight. But what does her needle look like? Just gonna kind of draw it like Hollow Knight's weapon, like his nail, but like way longer. It wouldn't have this line down the middle. I just can't draw a line going inwards without a guideline. Like that. Right, it'd probably be going in slower than that. And where's tiny? There's tiny. Let's go ahead and erase that. There's the nail. So, how are we gonna give her her nail, though? We could do it at an angle, make it a little skinnier, but then that becomes the issue of, I don't know how to do that. We could put it on her back, but I don't think in the game, I don't actually think she has it on her back. I think she's holding it behind her. Like in her hand, just behind her. But I guess I could still, like, do that and just ignore that fact. Also, I like how I gave her shoulders and then completely disregarded where I put her shoulders. Alright. We got a weapon right here. Alright. There we go. And there we go. This should be bigger. But I think that's fine. And this should be a blade, obviously. Blade would probably be like right here starting, maybe. So, what if I just grab my pen for the fucking straight line? If I did the deciding where it's gonna start, so I can just do this for the end. There we go. I feel like it goes in a little too quick, but I also don't give a shit. Whoopsies. Alright. We'll put that pen cap on back in a second. There we go, there's her little needle. Her needle weapon. So yeah, we're gonna definitely have to make her legs probably a little longer now to make sure that's not hitting the ground, or we could ignore it. Yeah, I should have tilted the weapon a little bit more now that I think about it, but that's fine. So her arm would actually have to be all the way back there. I didn't think that through, did I? That's fine, we'll just disregard that fact, and she doesn't have her arm there. Alright. This is where the fabric's gonna start woofing, you know? Because it still is woofy down there. Woofy. I don't know why there's so much wind in like an area that's like full of caves. I don't know. But we're gonna say that there is. Alright, hold on. I wanted this to be like this. Like that. And this is like that curling in, kinda. I don't know, I might ditch that part, but... And this is this, but I think I'm gonna have it fold over the blade, obviously. So it would go like this. Instead of, it would go like this. And then come down the blade right here. And that'd really be it. There wouldn't really be much fabric showing on that part because of the blade. So how are we gonna do her legs? Well, considering I'm drawing her as an anime girl and I don't know how to draw bug legs, I'm just gonna give her like kind of some boots, kinda, so I don't have to draw her legs. But I can still draw her legs, if that makes sense. Alright, we're gonna start with just a little diamond shape kinda for the foot. This isn't a diamond shape, but it's diamond shaped enough for me to call it a diamond shape. Okay, I really don't know what I'm doing. I didn't actually think this through. I did think ahead that I wanted to put her in kind of like boot type things, but I did not think how I actually wanted to do these. I just know I want them to go up the entire leg to avoid having to draw anything at all besides boot. there's that. So now I need to draw this leg, but this one's probably going to be a little bit different. And if these are boots, there should be a little bit of... well, maybe I should draw this part of the boot first to get this and this. Yep, this is a boot. This is about as good as I can do. I do think that this looks better than some of the shoes that I have drawn in the past. But I still definitely need work on shoes. You know, I'd probably be progressing faster with the shoes if I actually bothered to practice them, though. This is just one of the few things, I mean, not few, one of the many things I just refuse to practice. Why? I couldn't tell you. But I just really do not ever want to draw shoes. Alright. But I'll draw hands all the time. I ain't got no issue with drawing hands. Lots of people don't like drawing hands. I like drawing hands. I think they're cool. Alright. I'm trying to make this more interesting with adding like more detail to it, but it's not really doing much. Alright. I do think I have made this slightly more interesting, but now we need to do the one thing I was pushing off to the end because I haven't drawn hair in a very long time. We gotta draw her hair. Now her hair, I don't want a lot of it showing, but I want enough showing to where you know that there is hair underneath here. I want you to be able to tell there's... I think I'm gonna have to ditch the hair, actually. I drew her mask too big to give her any hair. I guess I could give her long hair, but that kind of ruins what I was thinking of. But I did really want to give her hair. Really wanted to give her hair, but I didn't do it right for adding hair. I realized that now. So I could still give her hair, the hair being long hair, but that kind of ruins, it doesn't ruin, but it's just not what I was going for. So do we take the short hair and just not draw it, or do we draw some long hair? I could draw it as a braid, because I was thinking of a braid too. Let me remember how the hell braid looks. No, that looks wrong. I think we're just gonna have to ditch giving her hair. That sucks. Because then I feel like it kind of loses the anime girl part. That's fine. She can just be Hornet, I guess, but I just drew her differently. That's the whole reason I wanted to draw her as an anime girl anyways. I just didn't want to copy a picture, because I think that's kind of boring in my opinion. It's just not as fun as making up your own shit. Now that I've drawn fan art of this game, does this mean I gotta complete the game now? I won't complete the game. You can't make me do it. I will play it more though, it's a really good game. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, because lots of people were saying it's super hard. I beat the first boss in my first try. And I've only died a couple of times. I don't think it's that hard of a game. Alright. There we go. Didn't mean to roll it off the page, but you know, that's fine. I did mean to roll that part off the page. I just thought it'd be funny. Now let's go ahead and pull out a mechanical pencil to try to make the lines a little sharper. Although I was kind of pressing a little too hard with this pencil. So the lines are still kind of... That kind of went far. The lines are still kind of there. But that's fine. They'll end up fading into the background a bit once I actually add the detail. You know, I could totally ink this. I got my little tiny lines like right there. And I haven't used them in a very long time. Maybe I'll think about it. But let's go ahead and just finish this drawing up here. Shouldn't take too long. Just a couple minutes to, refine the details and redraw every single line. Alright. There we go. I don't really have anything to say in this part, so I might just time-lapse this. I'm going to. Alrighty. Done. And I actually like this one. I think this one turned out pretty good. I did mess up in some areas and not plan some things out, but I think it turned out pretty good. It looks good. I like it. Alright. See you tomorrow.